Boxday has written many times that all politics is identity politics. Over at America, Mr. Brett Stevens has an excellent article critiquing International Women's Day. In this article, he writes the following: like most minority against majority politics, it creates a false identity based not on membership to a larger group. Now, I agree with what both of these men have written, but if all politics is identity based, how can there be a false identity? Doesn't a false identity imply that there is no real identity? Or to put it another way, how can a person not know their real identity? First, let me answer why I agree with these men, and why, even though it seems as if they are disagreeing, they are not. The reason both men are correct is because of the traditionalist principle of order. Order is the idea that everything has its rightful place, but that also means that everything has a wrongful place, a place it simply should not exist. So here we have the two both saying that things have a natural order, and then we have Mr. Stevens pointing out that when that is upset, then there is a false identity. For example, it is right that people of a particular ethnicity should side with each other, because an ethnicity is part of the natural order. It is organic and self-perpetuating. Unlike feminism, which is unnatural and non-perpetuating. Instead, it can only exist by breaking up what is natural. It creates a false identity. It alienates people from their past, their present, and in too many cases, from their future. And here is where we leave traditionalism and move to liberalism to answer the second point. Why is there such a thing as minority against majority? Why does there exist unnatural things such as feminism? Liberalism is an acid, and it destroys everything it touches. It is a wholly destructive force. Now, liberalism has two tricks it pulls. First, it allies itself with things people like, as in liberal democracy. If you ask a random person what democracy is, they will most likely have an answer. Ask them what liberalism is, and they won't. And there is their second trick, to pretend it doesn't even exist. Liberalism to most people is vaguely good, and both words are important. Liberals, classical, left, right, feminist, anarchist, libertarian, neoconservatives will all tell you that liberalism, or to be more precise, their brand of liberalism, seeks to build a better world, a world in which people will be freer and more prosperous. They often like to use the word progress to describe their idea of the future. But when they say freer, what do they mean? They mean you should be free from your parents, from having a spouse, from your country, your religion. Then and only then can you be truly free. Free from responsibility, free from worry, free from thought, free from consequences, free from reality. You can then be free to be a liberal. But to move from this world to that means destruction. Everything that stands between there and here must be destroyed. Everything they do is about destruction, which means they go looking for things that will help with that destruction. They look for weak points and try to drive a wedge in to make them bigger. They find groups of people who have a grievance and push them forward. They give them support, organisational, money, slogans, whatever they need to push their grievance. It's not hard to find people with grievances, but it is hard to push them into doing what you want. Liberalism uses everything that it has to push: fellow travellers, the law, illegal action. It uses everything. It creates false identities because they are just as destructive as natural identities. Everything is aimed at destruction because they think that when they have destroyed everything, then they will rebuild everything in the image that they want. But once they have destroyed everything, there will be nothing to rebuild with.